this evening.
I've been at Toastmaster for 5 months.
Amazing. And amazing is right for you too, Mark.
Thank you.
What a pleasure. And this is the kind of people you meet here at the Speakers Bureau. Just look in front of you, in back of you. Former Speakers Bureau chair. And I think Claudette is back there, also former Speakers Bureau chair. This is a wonderful place to come. It's free. It's free. What's free nowadays? Not much. Thank you for having me, and thank you so much.
And free is good. It's almost, that's my favorite word. My second is sale. So, 4-letter words. I know Michael Pitran had something to say. If anybody else wanted to make an announcement, you can go ahead. Come here, baby.
Hey, honey. Thank you very much. So one of the things we talked about a couple months ago was starting a lunch and learn program here within the Speakers Bureau. And we talked about doing auditions to make sure that before we started putting people into companies or organizations, that we were putting in good qualified speakers. Not just qualified speakers, but good quality speakers. So we've been thinking about how best to manage that. And one of the things that came up even today, and thank you for bringing it up, is that we need to present ourselves in a very professional way. And one of the things that we decided to do is to start actually having our packages ready to go. What that means for the qualified speakers is that we need to have our one-sheeters. So the way this is going to work going forward, as opposed to doing the auditions on a meeting night or a meeting outside of this particular event at Speakers Bureau, what we're going to do is we're going to take a portion of the Speakers Bureau to evaluate the people that want to be participants in the Lunch and Learns, where they're going into organizations, companies like Mattel, Xerox, Chevron, Activision. Yeah, we've got a whole host of Fortune 500 companies and other companies that are wanting our knowledge. We just have to be able to present it in a professional way. So the way we're going to break this out is every month we're going to do something a little bit different. Next month we're going to have everybody turn in or bring their one-sheeters to distribute out to qualified speakers, and have the qualified speakers evaluate them, these one-sheeters, to see if the person's ready to go. So that's part of the audition process. So that's step 1. Step 2, following month, have a package together. What is the workshop that you're putting together based on that one-sheeter? So we're not having you do it all at once. We're breaking it over a period of months. By doing it that way, it level loads your work, number 1. It gives you the opportunity to do good quality work prior to the meeting, and you know what's expected of you. And then at some future meetings, what we're going to do is we're going to have you audition. And again, the qualified speakers are the ones that are going to be evaluating you in this meeting. That way we are assured that we have quality controls in place, that when we say we have speakers, we who are going out to these various different communities can open up a binder and say, these are our speakers. What are you interested in? Here's their one-sheeter. So they have a takeaway, they've got a reminder. And that's the way professional speakers do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to emulate that program, but we're going to do it as a phased-in approach. And I think that's a smarter way of designing this process to ensure that we have the quality that's necessary to present ourselves in the way that we want to be presented. Does that make sense to everybody? And?
Do you have a blank one-sheeter for everyone to fill out that it will be equal, or you just want us to send in a bio and
So what we're going to do, and that's a great question.
Thank you, took me on like a ticket.
So I was going to mention something about the one-sheeters. What I do is I have some guidelines in terms of what we're requiring in terms of the one-sheeters, and it's just a basic outline. It's not a perfect finalized version. There is an example here. It's pulled off the internet, but I just want you to start with the process, because if you look at this one-sheeter example, a couple things are required. What's your personal brand message that you're trying to get across? Also, note that because we're going to non-Toastmasters audiences, when you say you're a qualified speaker, that doesn't mean anything to anybody. You're saying you're a distinguished Toastmaster, that doesn't mean anything to everybody, or anybody outside the Toastmasters world. So remove those qualifications out of your one-sheeter. Focus in on the qualifications that enable you to show that you're a credible speaker on that topic. What's the title of your workshop? These are elementary tasks, but we need to make sure that everyone has the basic metrics or basic design as far as a one-sheeter. So for those that are interested in this program and are qualified speakers, I do have some extra one-sheeters, and then what we'll do is we'll have an evaluation form for next month, and you'll need to bring in your copies of your one-sheeters, and then we're going to have the qualified speakers evaluate it, and it'll basically be this: what's good about it, what's bad about it, would you be interested in going to the presentation, how much are you willing to pay to go to that presentation, and is it a thumbs up or a thumbs down? Be very blunt. But give feedback that's going to move people forward, because I think that that's one of the things that professional speakers have to have that thick skin to say, sometimes we're good and sometimes we're not. And we need to be able to take that feedback and address the, or take the feedback and adjust the work so that we're presenting ourselves in a positive way. So for those qualified speakers, I'll be in the back of the room. You can pick up the one-sheeters, and next month what we'll do is we'll have you bring in extra copies of your one-sheeter. We'll have the qualified speakers evaluate those. We'll give you gather that feedback as the team, and then we'll make sure that you get that feedback directly. So it's not going directly to you, it'll come through us. And then we'll go on to the next phase, which is doing the workshop packages, so that you actually have something that is a tangible takeaway for the people that are doing the lunch and learns. And then we'll do the Speakers Bureau qualification or additions to the lunch and learns after that.
Which will be just a portion.
Right, and it'll be a 5-minute segment.
Yeah.
And the reason why we're doing 5-minute segments is that everybody in this room can talk for 5 minutes. But here's the challenge. Talk for 5 minutes on the points that you're saying you're going to be able to speak to as an expert. Be clear, concise, and direct. And that's going to make you successful in this process. Any questions? Going once? Yes?
So for speakers who become newly qualified,
Mm-hmm.
is this process going to be ongoing?
Absolutely.
Okay, so it's,
Yeah, so we just need to get it rolling, and then I think that once we establish a baseline, we can actually start moving it forward, but we need to start someplace. And starting with the one-sheeters is the place that we have to start with. And if you're looking to become a qualified speaker, start thinking about that. Start putting your one-sheeter together. Yes, Jeff?
I was going to ask, so for as this process is being rolled out for those that are in the process of qualifying, then that gives them some guidelines on what to prepare.
Absolutely.
Okay, excellent.
So, and the other thing is that as we're going through this process, we're going to take the feedback that is part of this developmental process, and if you've got ideas, concepts, in terms of how better to implement it, we're ready to accept that, to adapt and adjust accordingly. But I think what we've mapped out is a prudent way to move us forward. It's not slamming us all at one time.
We want this great. We don't want this good because, and I'm interrupting, and I
Absolutely,
apologize.
no, that's perfectly fine.
But when Furman and I came into this position, the reputation of the Speakers Bureau was kind of That's not good enough for me, and I hope that's not good enough for you. So we're here. I want to elevate this, because I don't know about you, but if my name is on this has to be good. So this is not only helping us for here, but it's helping us to make money. Because once we have this lunch and learn in our pocket, or your lunch and learn in your pocket, and your one-sheeter in your pocket, you can take it anywhere.
Right. And that is part of the transition of becoming a professional speaker, is that you need to have material. And if you don't have the material, you can't present yourself as a professional. So what we're doing is we're helping you move in that direction. We're giving you the baby steps to get there. And we actually had a couple speakers that point those steps out in terms of how to do that. And we're just reinforcing it by implementing a program that talks to those points. Any other questions? Yes.
If you have multiple programs,
Multiple one-sheets.
multiple one sheets, is there a limit?
No.
Third,
But here,
Don't want
yeah,
third.
no. Okay, for you, and actually I'm only gonna do this for Carol.
Yeah, because-
It's infinite.
that's right, that's right.
So, because I know she comes from a math background,
Yeah.
so totally get that. But-
L1 or L1?
Yeah, that's all right. So the thing that we have to recognize is that when we go into these organizations, basically the idea is walk in with a binder and say, okay, what types of needs do you have? Here are some speakers that can meet those needs, and be able to present that to them immediately. And then going on what Rona had said about how this can actually translate into an income. One thing that's true about the Speakers Bureau, if you are placed in a speaking engagement through the Speakers Bureau, how much do you get paid? Right. How much do you get paid if you do a great job and they ask you back?
You charge.
Exactly. So it's an investment in yourself by taking the time and doing good quality work, and also giving feedback to the individuals that are wanting to be part of this group. So I saw some other hands.
I just wondered where this stuff was on the web, and when the meeting is in December.
The 19th, the week before, it'll be the third week as opposed to the fourth week. And we're having a challenge updating the website because the John Kaplan, who is supposed to be our web guy, is in school. And I don't know how to do code. And if anybody else knows how to do code, we need you. I don't have anyone who can update the website. I will do it tomorrow.
But you're using the District 1 website with
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
I'll have a conversation.
Okay. And just so you know, I'm gonna piggyback on this because we were talking about ways to get speaking gigs, and Lunch and Learns can be a beginning of this. Jeffrey and Furman, I had an introductory meeting with Paulette Fontanez, who is the meeting planner and coordinator for PIRA, the Professionals in Human Resources Association. What's great about this association is that everyone in human resources belongs to it in the LA area. Well, the human resources people are the ones who hire the speakers and get the programs. So they are both doing webinars. It's a start. And these webinars, they of course will say at the end, and if you want more information or looking for other speakers, you can contact the Speakers Bureau. Aren't you, Jeffrey?
Well, not just at the end. It's woven all the way through it.
There you go, okay, we like that. So we're getting it out there. The faster you guys can get your part together, the faster we can get you out there and get us all notoriety, making money, et cetera, et cetera. And if any of you have contacts with anybody in large corporations, either let me know or let Michael know, and we'll make the inquiries.
Right, and just a side note on that, what we're trying to do is we're really trying to make this a professional operation, bottom line. So when I was brought into this, the thing that I was given was something that was a list of just the topics. But that doesn't give any content that really is relevant to somebody that's interested in speakers. So that's why we're making this request to go through this process. Okay, any other questions? Go on. Yes, ma'am. Fire away.
If the people trash your one sheet, give them a chance.
Oh, absolutely. So think of it as a developmental process. We have to move ourselves forward. So believe it or not, we all can do things well, and sometimes we fall flat on our face. That's the nature of doing business in this world, most of the time. Some of us are just on that cloud. We just kind of move forward, and we're successful in everything we do. I like to believe
I
that.
don't know anyone who's big.
No, I'm just saying, I never fail. I just take these opportunities to learn. Yeah.
Yes, I have a question. So I see that what you guys are doing with the Lunch and Learns. Will you guys open up a similar sort of exercise for maybe keynote presentations where you have the one-sheeters and even though we're not really moving forward on that and the focus is the lunch and learns, perhaps people looking for keynotes and stuff like that can at least throw it in there for consideration.
Absolutely.
We could probably do workshops and yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I
that's,
think that the idea is to get this thing in a manageable content, and lunch and learns are a great format for that.
and it's also a great format for the HR people or whoever it is to see what you can do. A lunch and learn is anywhere between 30 and 45 minutes because people have to come and eat and then get back to work. So you have X amount to speak. But if they say, man, he's great, he's a lot of fun.
Thanks.
I want him back. I want him back for a keynote. As opposed to taking, which you can charge whatever you want for. But if you go in and are disappointing as a keynote, they're never going to use it for.
Right. Yeah.
So just to clarify, you have the entire lunch, it's just one speaker per lunch, or?
Correct.
is it-
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can't get anything done in 20 minutes.
And it won't follow a standard Toastmasters formatted meeting. It will actually be a true lunch and learn.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, get Toastmasters out of your head, bottom line.
Start thinking like professional speakers.
And they'll be eating.
Right.
Absolutely. So be
I
prepared
don't
to
care what-
have that smell of garlic walk
Yeah.
by you.
That chocolate.
And chocolate.
And people still on pizza, yeah.
It's important to keep those masters in mind because it's really the safest environment when we can rehearse and get positive feedback. Over there, we won't, especially if we are bad. It's very tough out there.
That's my
Yeah.
point.
So yeah, I mean.
I'm in here.
Yeah,
I mean, I love
those
Toastmasters, but,
so
yeah, right, but when,
Yeah.
was I not obvious enough that, okay, sorry. Yeah, love Toastmasters, but not out there.
Yes. Fire away.
About the Toastmasters out there, you do have to put Toastmasters, because remember the Speakers Bureau is to promote Toastmasters. So we cannot go out there, I mean, we're
Yes.
not about to stimulate
That's how
anything
we
like
will get in.
that, but we will have,
Yes.
let them know that we are
Yes.
from
It-
Toastmasters.
Here's my concern, is that
But it has to be professional level
it
speaking.
has to be a professional level speech, period.
Yes.
Period. And given that quality, it actually is a great representative for what Toastmasters can do for you.
Right, yes.
And taking it one step further, you don't have to necessarily say that, or you don't have to eliminate the fact that you are a Speakers Bureau member and a member of Toastmasters. But what we're trying to say is that as a professional speaker, that is not what your focus is in that environment. You're there to do a lunch and learn on that topic.
Right.
So, anyways, any other questions?
Well, deliver the value, they'll want to know about Toastmasters.
Absolutely. Very good point. Okay, so we're going to do this like the auctions, going once, going twice.
Sold.
Sold.
So, start thinking about how your subject can be beneficial to corporations. If there's nothing else, but there is.
Just real briefly, Clinton Swain, who spoke here, was one of our educational speakers in February, is doing a free 3-day training in January at the LA Convention Center.
Is he the English guy with the?
Yes, the guy with the ponytail that did the live coaching. So he's going to do 3 days. That's part of the way he markets his business. He does he has a standard 3-day workshop that he does here in Australia and in the UK. That's his lead into what he does. So it gives people a chance to experience him. There's a ton of stage time involved in it, a lot of live coaching, as well as he runs a whole series of games each day. He does like 3-4 games each day as well.
Cool.
So we'll have more information. We'll pass along information.
Okay, so if, yeah, he has that information. Other than that, thank you for coming, and we'll see you next month.